Hey, Beth from Ozark Prepsteaders here. All right, I have a couple of things, just brief things I want to talk about today. And I'm going to stick a couple little clips of Duke in here because like things are kind of a bummer in some ways right now. And yeah, I think we all could use a little happy joy. And that's some puppy love, man. Puppies are happy, like super happy. It's a lot of fun having a little pup in the house. Exhausting. I told Randy the other day, like, you know, you hear about people who are in their late 40s, early 50s, and they're having babies. And I'm like, yeah, dang, that's amazing. Because I'm worn out by a puppy who is about the equivalent of a 2-year-old toddler. And maybe a 1.5-year toddler. It's tough, man. Like, let me show you this right here. You see what I'm talking about. Okay, y'all, Skunky was 14 when he went to be with Jesus. So I haven't had a puppy for 14 years. And I forgot how much they are like a toddler. Okay, look at this. We have literally bought this dog $125 worth of dog toys in the past week and a half. And he's playing with a cardboard box and a piece of kindling, which I'm gonna have to take the kindling away from him right now because they can get sick from the wood. But yeah, it's like having a toddler, like extension cords, boxes, wood, shoes, like the $120 worth of toys. Not that interested. Anything that could make him sick and die, yeah, I want to play with that. I'm gonna stick in another little clip I got of him this morning, laying on his back, just snoring away. He's a very good boy though. You can see we got double doors both ways. Over here, we got a doggy door, and then it goes into a hallway, and he has to go out another doggy door. And this way, there's 2 doors. And I was in here cooking, and he made it out here to the covered porch, but he couldn't get that door open, and I couldn't get here fast enough, so he had a little potty accident. So I moved his box out here so he doesn't have to have another accident, but he's trying real hard to get it figured out. He's got the doggy door figured out to come in from outside, but it hasn't quite clicked for him yet that, oh, I can go outside that way to go potty too. So we're working on that. So he's so stinking cute. He's like the best one ever. He's the best one. It's the best puppy. He gonna get that box. He gonna get that cardboard box. Oh. Yeah, he's teething up a storm. We have bought so many teething things, teething toys, teething chews. And yeah, it looks like right now it's a cardboard box, which is better than earlier when I was trying to cook and it was my leg. So yeah, pretty happy about this. Little bit of challenge with the chickies. He's learning that no means no, but you know, these dogs, Australian Shepherds, they're herders, man. And they want to round up anything. Skunks used to be toddlers. If he got in a group of small children, man, he was rounding them up because they all needed to stay together so he could keep an eye on them. Duke seems to be learning with chickens. All right, I gotta go. I gotta take this away from him. Let me slip in that little clip of him snoring this morning. Super funny. Y'all see what I mean? That's all kinds of crazy. Cute when he's sleeping though, isn't he? He's so cute, little snoring going on. Something happened. Well, it happened earlier, but I just heard about it yesterday. First of all, I just want to tell you that whenever you do what we're doing as far as YouTube goes, whenever you finally, you know, get up the courage, energy, whatever, to jump on YouTube and kind of put your life out there and start a channel, probably one of the most exciting things for us has been whenever we have met other people who are doing the same thing. Whenever we run into other YouTubers, like, it's super exciting because it is, I don't know how to really describe it. Like, you know, I only got 550 subscribers. I don't know what it's like for people who have like 5,000 or 50,000 or 150,000, because I already sometimes have trouble keeping up with like comments and text messages and emails and stuff like that. And I know, you know, like I said, I've only got 550 of y'all who are tuning in. Like, some of these channels, they're huge. Like, I don't know if they hire helpers to help them like connect with everybody, or if they just stop trying to connect individually. I think in some cases that's probably what has to happen, because it's just too much. Like, it takes a lot to video and edit and get it out there. And, you know, you're still trying to live life and work and all that stuff. And then, you know, to answer comments and keep up with everything, which I love to do. I just don't know how people manage it whenever their channels get real big. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you guys. Please don't stop like reaching out. That's not what I'm saying at all. Anyway, you kind of have a special bond with other folks who have a channel, because you understand what goes into it, and you understand, you know, putting yourself out there and what that feels like. And the rewards for us personally so far have been great. They've been amazing, but there also is some negative to it, some downside to it. You know, I've had to remove some folks from the channel, and I don't like doing that. But some folks get a little just nasty. And it's like, I don't want that in my world, and I don't want it on my channel. And I've never understood this about American life in general. If you do not like something, why do you feel the need to cancel it? Why can't you just not partake of it? Don't watch it. Don't listen to it. Like, to come to my channel and spout off and talk about, you know, how I'm a bitch, you know, and you don't like what I have to say, like, just don't listen to it. Go watch another channel. There's 8 kajillion channels out there. I mean, there's literally like 200 million, 2 billion, something like that YouTube channels. Like, you don't have to come here and watch mine if you don't like it, right? It's the same as like things on TV. Now they're canceling Dr. Seuss. Oh, Dr. Seuss is racist. It wasn't racist whenever Michelle Obama was, you know, featuring it at the White House. Now it's cancel culture racist. Everybody should stop publishing them, stop buying them. Why don't you just stop reading them? If you don't like it, just stop. You don't have to like cancel the whole world because you are offended by everything. You know, it's funny. It's so funny because, you know, a lot of these liberals and these woke folks, you know, they don't believe in the Bible. They think the Bible is a load of crap. They hate Christians. But every single thing they are doing right now has been foretold in the Bible. So it's kind of funny. I think about that a lot whenever I'm doing my Bible studies in the morning. Anyway. So you do kind of have this bond with folks, and I heard yesterday on another channel that a fellow YouTuber who is also in the homesteading community, her channel is Needy, as in kneading bread, homesteader. Her and her husband were in a terrible car accident. I guess it's been a couple weeks now. It was right around Valentine's Day, and they were hit head on by a drunk driver after going out to dinner, and he was killed. And she was severely injured, and 2 of their children were injured. And they have a lot of children. I think they're either a family of 8 or they have 8 children, one of the 2. But And now she's all alone, and she posted a video from her hospital room, and man, it just broke my heart. Like, she's the second person I know in less than 3 months who has lost her husband suddenly. And man, that hits me hard because, you know, my husband and I were kind of really strongly intertwined. Like, before I had to stop working construction because of my spine issues, like, we were together 24/7, 365. The only time we were apart was if I had to show a property and he had to be on a job. And he is my best friend and my protector and the leader of the family. And I just can't imagine waking up one day and he's gone. And if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that we actually split up in 2010. We had a real rough patch. And Randy's the one who left. I didn't want the separation at all. And getting all emotional about it. He just came home one day and said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And literally within like 2 days, he was gone. And I knew, like, before he left, the day before he left, we had a very intense conversation. And in the middle of it, you read about the supernatural peace of the Lord. The supernatural peace just came over me. And you have to understand, I was a train wreck. I mean, a train wreck. And the supernatural peace just came over me. And I heard the Holy Spirit say, he'll be back. It's not over. Okay, that, from the time that happened, from the day he walked out until we got back together, was over 3 years. It was a little bit over 3 years. But I never gave up faith that he would be back, that we would get our family back together. I didn't date anybody. I didn't see anybody. I didn't try and date anybody or see anybody. I held that space for us to come back together. And then finally, in 2013, I inadvertently stumbled across a Facebook post and saw that he had moved in with somebody. And we had stayed we had stayed great friends, you know. He was Jake's dad. And it totally caught me off guard, and I didn't expect it. And I was more shocked that he hadn't told me about it. And so I filed for divorce. And I think I filed for divorce in May, and it was final around the end of June. And that November is whenever we got back together. So for the most part, I was very, it was a horrible period. It was the worst time of my life, but I always had this hope and belief that we would get back together, okay? Whenever your husband dies, that's not an option. Like, you're not going to see him again until you go home to be with Jesus. Like, you are facing doing everything alone for the rest of your life. And even if, you know, the Lord blesses you with somebody else to share some portion of your life with, it's never going to be the same. There's always going to be a big hole. I'm going through that with this little puppy. Like, I love this puppy. I adore him. He's amazing. But I've got pictures of Skunk through the house, and I walk by and I see Skunk, and I see his face, and I feel the loss of his energy. Like, I will never feel that energy again while I'm on this earthly plane, right? Like, yeah, I've got a new puppy. He's freaking amazing. But it's not a replacement, right? You can't ever replace that. And so both of these ladies, the friend that I have here in town, and this wonderful woman, you know, who has a YouTube channel that I've never met. But I watched her video last night, and and they're very strong women. You can tell that they're very strong. And are they going to go on and have, you know, great, beautiful lives filled with moments of intense joy and happiness? God, I hope so. I mean, that's what I'm praying for them. And I'm sure they will. But man, is it a hard thing to have to go through. That is a valley walk for sure. If you're not a believer or you're a new believer, you maybe haven't heard that yet. Believers talk a lot about, you know, being up on the mountain. You know, that's whenever like life is great and beautiful and, you know, God has got the sun shining on you all the time, and then walking in the valley. And that's whenever things, you know, are a little bit tougher, man. And, yeah, so I'm so sorry, you guys, for getting so emo. I feel so bad for these ladies, and I think about, you know, just how hard it was for me to be without Randy whenever we went through that trial. And I know both of these women had the same type of relationship with their husbands that I have with mine, that they were best friends. And my friend here in town, they had actually had very similar in the way that they were into real estate type things. He had done construction, you know, they had rehabbed some houses together, like very, very similar. And they were just best friends. They were, you know, he was her bestie, and their kids are mostly grown. And I had just talked to her a couple of weeks before she had lost him. You know, they were planning their future. Like, they were super excited about it. Like, this is what we're going to do. And we're super excited about it. And it's a big step and a lot of change. But, you know, we've got the last kid getting ready to go off to college. And it's just going to be us again. And super excited. And then he's gone, you know. And in this video I watched last night, you know, from the Needy Homesteader, like, it was very similar, you know. She was talking about, you know, how he was the love of her life. And, you know, she had all these plans for the YouTube channel. And she's got a really big following. I think they've got like 150,000 subscribers. And she does a lot of really special things with her subscribers. And, you know, he's just gone, and she's got to figure out, now she's a single mom, you know. And I don't know for a fact, but it doesn't sound like, from what she was talking about, like they had a giant insurance policy or anything, you know. And the way I heard about her was, I just caught a little bit of TJ Morris over on Bear Independent. He had, I haven't even had a chance really to catch a lot of TJ's stuff lately because I've been so busy myself. And I just happened to be able to catch a little bit the other morning, and I saw he does the super chats, and I saw all the cash, you know, like $400, $300, you know, $75 donations. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And it was already almost at the end of the broadcast. So I had to, you know, start it all over at the beginning, and I'm listening, and he's talking about her, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I finally got a chance to actually watch her video, and yeah, like, they've got GoFundMes and things like that, because she's got two broken arms, and her leg was completely fractured. Like, they had to put it all back together with plates and stuff like that. I'll link up her video so you can check it out. So anyway, what I'm asking is, if the Lord puts it on your heart at all, you know, if you can afford to send some financial support their way, I'm sure she would greatly appreciate it. Because, like, your world is, you went to bed one night and your world and your life were one way, and you wake up in the morning and your world and your life are a different way. Like, it's just different, and it's never, ever going to be the same. And like I said, it doesn't mean it can't eventually be better. You know, for Randy and I, I'll tell you this, in our relationship, I was the problem. Like, for sure. I had a real rough upbringing, and I had a lot of emotional baggage and issues that I had to work through. And I don't think I ever would have been able to work through them had we not had that separation. It was absolutely, without a doubt, the worst period of my life, and also the period of the most growth and healing And whenever we finally came back together, we came back together so much stronger than we were, and in such a better place. So we have to welcome the trials. The Lord, you know, talks about that. We have to welcome the trials and learn from the trials, but that doesn't mean the trials are easy. I mean, that's why they're called trials, right? So that's been on my heart a lot. And then just what's going on with all the cancel culture, it is just kicked up into high gear. You know, we've got this idiot in the White House who can't even, he says, I'm ready to take questions at a press conference, and they cut off the feed because he's not cognitively there. The guy is not there. He is not aware of what's happening around him. He has dementia. And he's literally got his finger on the button. And everybody's like, oh yeah, it's so great. Oh, the left is in charge again. It's so great. We're going to remake America. Yeah, how's that working out? It's not working out so good. I mean, so far, you know, gas prices are up. They're costing us a bunch of money. People are losing their jobs left and right. Interest rates are going up, which sucks for everybody I know who's trying to buy a house. Sucks for sellers. Interest rate raising a 0.5 point can be devastating to a buyer. Because whenever they figure out how much house you can afford, they figure it out at the particular interest rate. Whatever the interest rate that is that day, whenever the lender clears you to buy a house, all right, if the interest rate is 3%, you can afford, with your house payment, your taxes and insurance, all of that, you can afford to buy a house that's $150,000. And if it's not locked in immediately, that interest rate goes up a 0.5 point, and now you can only buy a property that's worth maybe $125,000. That's the difference between somebody in a crazy market like we're in being able to buy a house and not. You've just been completely priced out of the market because the interest rate went up a 0.5%. It happens all the time. And it's the same for sellers. Oh, we were in a super hot seller's market. Everybody was getting top dollar for their homes. All of a sudden, interest rates have gone up so much that the buyer pool is way lower than it was 3 months ago. And, you know, now that affects how things are selling. So it's tough for the market all the way around. And we just went through this election where it's coming out more and more every day, if you're watching, that there are, right, I can't even say what I want to say because YouTube will cut my video out. By the way, I had one removed by them a couple of weeks ago. It was one that I did way back during the election. And yeah, they decided that because I had mentioned election fraud back whenever, you know, everybody was talking about it. Hello, Mr. YouTube censor. I'm talking about what happened previously. I'm not saying we have election fraud right now. I'm not saying that. Don't pull my video. Yeah, apparently you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to talk about that. I saw that a certain state, once the election the voting rerun in their state because a judge said there was so much, not going to say the F word, so much that didn't go the way it was supposed to go, that they want to vote all over again. Okay, so we have that kind of crazy going on, and I heard today that Mr. Cognitive Genius in the White House wants to do an executive order basically saying that no voter ID will ever be needed federally, that everything that just happened in this last election is perfectly fine to happen, and let's move on. Much like whenever you lose a spouse or a partner or a child and your world never goes back to the way it was before, we lost an election and our world's never going to go back to the way it was before. They're going to make sure of it. And they are going to come for us. They've said they will. They obviously stay true to their word. It's going to happen fast. And folks are getting really stressed out about it. My sweet daddy is so stressed out. It's not even funny. Like, he has gone from being happy and fun to just like super serious and super depressed. And like, that's it. It's just over. Okay. Yes, I know it can feel that way. And yes, I know we talk about that. We talk about how, like I just said, things are never going to be the same. It's never going to go back to the way it was. I talk a lot here on this channel about how, you know, if you're in Babylon, you need to get out because things are going to get crazy and you want to make sure that you are somewhere where you have a fighting chance of making it. All of that is true. But what is also true at the same time, if you are a believer, and if you're watching my channel, I hope you are, God is in control. He is ultimately in control. And every day, every morning when I sit down to spend my time with the Lord and I'm reading my Bible and I come across things that say things in the Bible like, during this time, what is good will be called bad and what is bad will be called good. And I jump on the old interwebs and I see that Cardi B's WAP song is considered good and Dr. Seuss is considered bad. I'm like, yeah, that's happening right now. That's where we are. And there are so many things that the Bible speaks about that are happening now in current events in real life time that I am very comforted by that. You know, and the Lord blesses us. And even if we have to go through trials and tribulations here, even terrible things for us, like, you know, separations or divorces or, you know, losing a partner or a spouse or a child or a terrible disease, whatever it is that we have to go through here, you have to remember that this is not our eternal home, right? Our eternal home is in heaven with God, with Jesus, where everything is beautiful and we live all of eternity in joy and glory and happiness, surrounded by all the things that bring us the most love and joy. So don't let the bastages get you down. I know it's hard. I do know that. But we've got to fight to stay positive. And if that means you have to step out of, you know, the news cycle for a little bit to catch your breath and to, you know, find some peace, then do that. Do that. I've had to do that for sure. I just had to take a break from it. And so I went from, you know, before the election, I was spending an average of 6 hours a day, news, research, you know, yeah, news and research mostly. Just trying to put things together, trying to figure out where we really were, who was really running things, promoting, advocating, you know, for our side. And I've had to really whittle it down to the part now where maybe I'm spending maybe an hour a day, maybe 45 minutes a day, and the rest of the day I'm spending living my life. Because craziness has happened throughout the history of the world. It will continue to happen. Civilizations rise and fall, and humans continue to thrive. We continue to live. And the truth is, you know, there are some horrific things going on in other places in the world. If you're not aware of what's going on in Africa, you need to tune into that. Some terrible, horrible things. And, you know, we're worried about the size of our preps and stuff like that. So, you know, you got to put everything in perspective. And the other thing I just wanted to say, and I don't talk about this kind of stuff too much, but it's coming up a lot in my world, is if you are in a position where you have been blessed financially, please just keep an eye out and keep your heart open towards people in need, people who are, you know, dealing with tragedies, people who are dealing with health crisis. You know, there is so much need on the local level as well as the national and global level. We had a thing happen here. We have, you know, we're a town of 12,000 people. We get a lot of folks who come in from the hills. They say that our service area is about 40,000 people. We do, whenever times are good, we do have a lot of folks who come to vacation here. So we do have a tourist element. And our mayor has gotten a whole bunch of people together who decided that what we need is a $38 million visitor center, rec center. Basically, it's going to be a bunch of buildings where there'll be meeting rooms, things like that. There'll be indoor basketball courts. There'll be baseball fields. There'll be an indoor pool. And their reasoning for this is that, as I have talked to you guys about before, we have a big problem here with labor. We have a big labor shortage, and they're trying to get folks to move into the area. And, you know, the government seems to think that having an indoor pool and some meeting rooms and some, you know, ball courts and fields will help lure folks in to move into this area and help us grow and all this crap. Well, first of all, not everybody wants it to grow, right? That's number one. A lot of folks have moved here because they wanted a smaller, slower pace of life. Second of all, I don't know anybody who decides to move to a new area because they have an indoor pool. Like, that's not usually what lures people in, right? We have a huge amount of need here. We actually have homeless people here. It's pretty sad. We have a huge hunger problem. Childhood hunger is huge here. We have issues with our streets and our roads. Our old square downtown, where a lot of other communities have put a lot of money into revitalizing that, no, not here. You know, I have an adult and a disabled adult who lives here. We have zero. And it's not really zero. It's like, we have like 3 jobs they can do here, and those are mostly full all the time. The group home's full. Like, we have a huge problem with disabled folks, children and adults, and no services and support for them. You know, there's about 100 other things we could use $38 million for, and they want to put it, you know, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I'm like, is this mayor a freaking Democrat? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, in my opposition to this, spending this money to build something that we don't need and is not going to, you know, result in what they hope it will result in, I started really tuning into the needs that we do have in the community. And there are many. There are many, many needs. And, you know, part of what I have been preaching all along here is that we need to get involved on a local level first. We need to fix our own communities, our own schools, our own churches, our own homes and families before we can fix the big bad world, right? If we had all of our ducks in a row here, and we didn't have any hungry people, and we didn't have any disabled people who didn't have help and assistance, and we didn't have any senior citizens who were lonely and didn't have anybody to come visit them, and we didn't have any orphans, and we didn't have any children in foster care, and we didn't have any broken roads, and, you know, then we're in a position to go out and help the rest of the world. But how are you going to preach to people in a different town, a different community, about what they need to do and how they need to live whenever you haven't got your own house in order? It's just my viewpoint on it. So I just ask y'all to, you know, take a look around where you're at and start putting some money and energy into where you're at to make it a better place. And if you want to leave where you're at to get to somewhere that you hope will be better, whenever you get to where you're going, get involved. Like, be involved in the community. You know, I know we talk a lot here about, you know, folks wanting to be off grid and wanting to be out on their own. But the truth is, no matter where you go, you're going to have neighbors. Your neighbor may be right next door, like ours are here, or your nearest neighbor might be a mile away, but you're still part of a bigger community. And if we all would just get involved and do our part, things could be so much better. And so, yeah. That's it. All right, y'all. That's it for me today. I hope y'all are doing amazing. Praying for y'all. If you have any real estate needs, as always, hit me up. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.